Spilling Ink is brought to you by Book Branders, your self-publishing concierge.
Hey everybody, it's me, your favorite host, Jason Lavelle, and today I am here with author Mindee Arnett. How are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Good, good. And you are all the way from Ohio, is that right?
I am. I live west of Dayton, which nobody has ever gone to because it's Dayton. But
I've heard of Dayton, but I don't go there.
You've driven through it on the way to Cincinnati.
That's right, that's right. So what are you doing all the way up here? Do you do a lot of conventions?
I don't, actually. I love to do conventions. I would like to do more, hint, hints. But I happen to come to this one because I'm friends with Susan Denner, who lives in the area, and she's been to this event. She comes usually every year, and she and I are at the same agency. And it just kind of was hey, let's invite Mindee because she lives fairly close.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened that way. But I do a lot of book festivals and things local within my area.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your books.
Okay, so I write science fiction and fantasy. Technically it's for teens, but really it's for anybody that likes science fiction and fantasy. My first series was The Nightmare Affair. It's a trilogy. It's the Arkwell Academy trilogy. It is about a girl who's half human, half nightmare, as in the folkloric creature that sits on your chest when you're trying to sleep and gives you bad dreams.
Oh.
But in this case, she discovers she has the ability to predict the future through signs and symbols in one particular person's dream who happens to be her crush. And they discover they have this ability around the same time that murders start taking place at their school, and they got to use this ability to stop the criminal from killing again. So they're murder mysteries set at a magical school. My Barnes & Noble rep called them Scooby-Doo meets Harry Potter, which makes it sound younger than it actually is. But
I don't know. You're never too old for Harry Potter, though.
Or Scooby-Doo, right? Am I right? Like the supernatural Scooby-Doo. Did you see
Yes,
that crossover?
yes.
Oh, it was epic. Okay.
That was good. That was very good. It might have been better than the actual Supernatural show. I don't know. I got through one season of Supernatural, and then I couldn't get any further. My wife just wasn't into it, and I was just like, okay, there's a million other series we could watch, but
it's up and down. But we've stuck through it. I absolutely love Dean.
Okay.
Love Dean, so I will watch him in anything. Jensen Ackles.
Is Dean short hair or long hair?
Hey, Jensen Ackles is short hair. So he starred in Dark Angel. Did you ever watch Dark Angel back?
I didn't.
So Dark Angel preceded Firefly on Fox. Like they canceled Dark Angel to put in Firefly, so there's like this long, it actually starred Jessica Alba.
Okay.
And Jensen Ackles is in it, and
Awesome.
he's just hysterical. So I've loved him for a very long time.
And then they gave us Firefly, and then took Firefly away.
And they took Firefly away. I know. Like double
and I'm
whammy.
still reeling from this. It's not okay.
I know, right? I know.
So I've got to ask, who is your doctor?
Oh, Tenet.
Tenet?
Okay. Hardcore, 100% all the way. And my favorite companion is Catherine Tate, Donna.
Okay. Let's see, and I'm a Matt Smith guy. I love Dr. Number 11, but I think that's because I started with him.
Okay, yeah.
A co-worker had given me her set of Doctor Who DVDs and like, watch this, you'll love it. I'm like, oh my God, I do love it. But I also love David Tennant. He was fantastic, and he's just got so much personality and character in everything he does.
I know. When I started with Christopher, I started at the beginning of the new series, and so when I didn't know what Doctor Who was like, and so I wasn't prepared for the change, the metamorphosis or whatever, and it took me a while to get used to Tennant. But then once I did, that was it. Like I love him to pieces.
Oh, he's got a big personality.
I know he does.
He really does.
And then him and Catherine Tate together, like they just have that comedy, and I just love it. So humorous, so much fun.
Well, they're all great. They really are. And I haven't watched any of the older series, and I probably should to be a true fan, but I don't know. They're old.
They're old. I tried. I've legitimately tried, and just there's so many good things on television and Netflix these days that I'm like, I just don't have time. But Doctor Who fans, don't hate me, but I like the new series. So yeah.
What do you have right here?
Which part?
These little guys here.
Okay, so we'll go back to my books. So my latest book is Onyx and Ivory. And as part of the promotion for Onyx and Ivory, I had some character cards made to give away. I did a street team. So the street team actually went out and they talked about my book for me to kind of hype up online. And everyone that participated got a set of these character cards. So these are the characters in the book. And I am giving these away today at Comic-Con for anyone that purchases a copy of Onyx and Ivory.
Sweet.
So, and they were done by a lovely professional illustrator who lives in Columbus. Her name is Jenny Zemanki. I probably butchered that. If I did, Jenny, I'm sorry. But yeah, she did a great job. So Onyx and Ivory is my latest book. It is about a world with a serious dragon problem. Actually, the concept when I originally started was Pitch Black meets the Pony Express. So do you remember the movie Pitch Black?
Yeah.
Vin Diesel,
Yeah.
like before he was Vin Diesel.
That was way back when.
I know, I'm old, right? I'm showing my age.
I'm old. Jeez.
But I love that how the dragon, or not dragons, but the alien things come out at night and eat you. And then the Pony Express, because I have horses, I love horses. Always wanted to write about, the mail service on horseback. And those two ideas came together to form Onyx and Ivory. But anyway, so it's about a fantasy world. It's a high fantasy where at night dragons come out. They're like vampire dragons. They can't be in the daylight. But if you're outside any magically fortified structure at night, they're going to eat you, because that's what all they do is eat human beings.
Okay.
So the world has a very interesting setup.
So they're not delivering mail with the dragons.
Well, they are, but they have to make sure that they ride really fast and that nothing happens along the way. So there's like relay towers in between.
Okay.
It's called the relay, and there's towers in between that are set like the Pony Express. So you knew you had to go 10 miles or 20 miles, and then you could go in and be safe in the tower, spend the night, and then go on the next day. And that's where the story starts. But my main character has an advantage. She has a magic. Certain magic is outlawed in the country, and she happens to have that type of magic. She can communicate with animals. She can sense what they're feeling, and she uses that to help her not get eaten by dragons.
Okay.
As the story starts, there's a lot more to it. There's another point of view character who happens to be the second-born son of the king. They have a past. They meet each other again, and shenanigans ensue.
It sounds like you have a fairly large plot with a lot of intricacies in it.
I do.
Are you a plotter? Do you plot your novels out, or do you just fly by the seat of your pants?
So I am actually on the spectrum. So because it really is a spectrum. I know a few people that are purely pantsers and few that are purely plotters. I'm kind of somewhere in between.
Okay.
I started off being a pantser entirely until I realized that absolutely sucks. I wrote 4 books that way, and they were terrible. And the reason why they were terrible is because when I went to revise them, they were so structurally bad that I had to start over. And if I had to start over completely, it's just discouraging. And then I just go on and write the next one.
Yeah.
So I learned that it's good to do some plotting, to actually think about your story ahead of time. So now I don't plot. I don't do big outlines. My critique partner does 50-page outlines for her books. Like, they are hardcore. I do not do that.
Wow.
I identify specific points, and I answer certain questions going into it, and then I kind of allow the story to take over as I'm writing.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mix of both.
Well, and I'm climbing up the spectrum more towards plotting.
Yes.
I was a total pantser, and I had the same problem where my plots just ended up being meandering. They would just kind of go, and I'd look back at it, I was like, man, that's not really solid. The book is still enjoyable, I think, but it could be a lot better if I'd actually taken the time to plot it out. So now, because this is National Novel Writing Month, and I wanted to really work hard on my work in progress, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a solid outline for this, and it's not 50 pages, it's more like 4 pages.
I
but,
know, right?
And even that seemed like a
lot.
thick outline. And I'll tell you what, even though I don't I'll take that back. I never outlined before because I wanted that discovery rush when you write for discovery, and it's just like, oh man, this is so fun. But even with the outline, I'm still getting that rush. Because I'll say, okay, I want this to happen in this scene, but I still get to write it, so I still get that enjoyment out of it, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more cohesive because later on, if I'm looking back through, I can say, okay, well, I need to move this plot point here or this plot point here, and because I have an outline, I know where it is, and I know how to do that, so I think that's really useful.
Well, and then it's a rush when you realize what you thought was going to happen ends up being something else, and it's better. Like, I like that feeling too. I'm like, well, I thought it was going to do this, my outline, but really it's going to do this, and it's so much better. Like, that's how you kind of keep it fresh and alive when you do some plotting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you allow yourself room for creative breathing, for a little bit of freedom in there, but still give yourself some parameters.
Right.
Especially when you're making a book that has a magical system like you do.
Right.
You have to have set rules. It can't be like, well, I suppose it could be like, but in Doctor Who, when I first started watching it, it drove me absolutely bonkers because I'm so used to magical systems that have boundaries, that have concrete edges to follow. And, as the Doctor says, not everything makes sense.
Right.
The universe doesn't always make sense. And I'm like, okay, well, I just have to accept this. This is not hard science fiction. It's entertainment. It's fantasy.
TV can get away with a lot more than novel writers, just so you're tracking. They can just be like, oh, look, it's pretty. Look at the special effects.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, we don't get to do that.
I'm going to climb in the box and I'm going to make the universe explode, but that's going to make the universe come back. There's no explanation for that.
Right.
It just happens. So
but we love it anyways.
We love it anyway.
Right,
we love it
absolutely.
anyway. Now, tell me about your panel that you're doing today.
So my panel today, it's called, it has some fancy title about...
Ooh, I probably have
You probably have it.
Yes, let's see. Path to Publication.
Path to Publication.
A guide to writing and selling speculative fiction.
Correct. So it's a huge...
Fancy. Yeah.
I'm going to cover everything from idea, your concept generation, to querying your agents. And I'm going to talk about what traditional publishing is for people that don't understand it or know what it is. And I'm going to give away all of my absolute best secrets. They're not really secrets. They're just knowledge that I've acquired in my publishing journey that I feel like are the most important things to know as a writer, whether you're starting out or whether you've been doing it for years.
Okay.
These things transformed my ability by learning them. And I rely on a lot of other texts. Most of them are not my ideas. But I've read other books and have been mind blown by stuff that's happened, and I'm going to share it all today. I'm super excited.
And I am going to try to go up and record that when you do that. That way we can share your tips with our viewers, because I think that they'll really appreciate that.
I hope so. That'll be great. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah.
So hopefully people come. Right?
Well, and I have a little game I want to play with you.
Okay.
It's an easy game, don't worry. And it's called Lightning Round Questions. Okay. And I'm going to read you a question and just say whatever pops into your head.
Okay, and this is where we're going to need editing later. No, I'm just kidding.
No, well, that's the whole idea. I'll tell you what, my last lady that did this had a heck of a time on the very, very easy ones. And I was like, okay.
Okay, all right.
All right. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Yes. We are starting strong already.
No. Banana peppers, yes. That's the only yellow thing that should be there.
That's right.
Right.
Backstreet Boys are in sync.
Neither.
Good. That's also the right answer. Perfect.
But I have to confess, it was actually New Kids because I'm old.
Oh,
but I was like really little. I was like 10 or 11. I was a baby.
Well, and New Kids, you must be about the same age as me because New Kids.
We won't say.
Yeah. New Kids when I was that age too. And my parents didn't let me listen to pop music back then because they thought it was evil or I don't know, whatever reason they had.
Yeah.
All right. So, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Excellent. Man, I like you. I do.
Yeah.
TARDIS or Vortex Manipulator?
TARDIS.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
The TARDIS is awesome. What day is it?
It is Saturday.
Yes, you got that. That's the one she struggled with yesterday.
I almost said Wednesday. I'm not sure why I was thinking. I knew it's Saturday.
So, this is a hard one.
Okay, I'm
so
ready.
You just got to go with your gut and whatever the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
Favorite author?
J.K. Rowling. Followed very closely by Maggie Stiefvater.
Well, I haven't met her.
She is amazing. She's a young adult author. She wrote The Scorpio Races, which is my favorite, and then the Raven Cycle series.
Okay.
Excellent. She is so much fun to see in person.
Okay.
Actually, I talk about her when I start, so this will be a spoiler for later, but you go and see her do an author talk, she plays the bagpipes. She does all these really cool things, and I'm like,
wow.
When I'm talking, I'm like, I'm just not that cool. All the cool things I can do can't be done inside a gym.
You need a horse in here for you
to
do tricks
on. You can't bring the horses in and jump fences, which is cool, right? But not playing the bagpipes cool. But anyways, no, she's wonderful. I don't love all of her books, but I love the Raven Cycle and Scorpio Races.
Okay,
hardcore,
I will check those out then. And have you read Victoria Schwab at all?
I have.
She's my favorite fantasy gal at the moment.
Okay.
Love her books.
That's great.
All right.
I should be glad to hear that.
Magic or martial arts?
Magic.
Definitely.
Although I was a boxer, so I really love fighting. I love the fighting skill. I did amateur
combine
boxing.
both of them then. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll do both. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll have to patent that next time.
Oceans or lakes?
Lakes.
Okay. books or movies?
Books. Followed very closely by movies, though.
Okay.
Pop culture, all in all forms.
Oh, yeah. I love movies. I do, and I love reading. I really can't pick. I cannot.
Right.
All right. Favorite word?
That is a tough one. I love the word, I can't even say it, susurrus.
Susurrus?
Which
What does that mean?
it means like the sound of the wind through the trees, like a kind of I like it because it is what it sounds like.
Okay.
I think it's a really pretty word.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, like word as far as meaning would probably be courage. Like if we're not talking about the word as a word, but as like what it means. Like
Sure.
courage. I really like the word courage.
Okay, all right.
That's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
wasn't ready.
Cutest dog.
My own.
What is your
I
your
have
dog?
two. They are Australian Shepherds. Their name is Halo and Gambit.
Okay.
So Halo for the video game and Gambit from the X-Men series.
Yes.
And my dog Gambit is named Gambit because to gambit, like if you look it up in the dictionary, it means to trip somebody, like to kind of trip them up. That's what he was doing constantly as a puppy. Like, and he still does it. Like he'll lay down right beside you and you fall over it. But they are the cutest. We got them about 12 weeks apart, so they're really close and they play all the time. And I love Australian Shepherds.
That's
they're blue
awesome.
merles, so they're really pretty. And
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're beautiful dogs. They really are.
furry, so, yeah.
All right. Favorite Beatles song?
I gotta remember the name. It's
You could sing it for us, and then we'll tell you the name later.
I think it's Come Together, right? Is that the
That's
one
a great
about
song.
the
Yeah. Come Together Right Now.
yeah,
Over Me.
yeah. I love that one. I also love Hey Jude because of Stephen King.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because the Dark Tower series,
Yeah.
like it's in there.
Yep.
But yeah, I miss the Beatles. You kind of like all of them,
Yeah,
right?
I
Paperback
agree.
writer, you know, I'm a writer, like paperbacks, you know, yeah. Although I really like the Rolling Stones better than the Beatles. Don't hate me.
Oh my Lord.
I love the Stones.
We're gonna cut that out.
I'm
Just
sorry.
gone out.
I love the Stones like a lot.
I like the Stones, but I like the difference for me is that I like the Stones' greatest hits.
Yeah.
Whereas the Beatles, I could just listen to the albums.
It's because they were all hits,
They,
right?
they kind of were, but yeah. So
They're
I
kind
mean,
of like the Nickelback, though, in a little bit.
you
of,
like the Nickelback?
No, I mean, I like Nickelback songs, but you know they have that reputation, like the Eagles, where it's
Yes.
like all hack stuff.
Yeah.
The Beatles were almost, I mean, I love the Beatles, but they're so popular that it's like,
Yeah, it's hard because they're so oversold.
they're oversold.
Well, and you know, Nickelback, really, the music isn't bad. It's super commercial, but
Yeah.
that's what bands do. They make music
To
that
make
people want to
people will
buy.
listen to
yeah,
them, right.
exactly.
So, okay, my turn. Favorite band now?
Oh, God.
Because I want to answer this question.
No, my favorite band now. Uh-oh, this is a tough one. Probably Mumford and Sons.
Oh my God, me too. That's why I
I
wanted
love
you to ask
Mumford.
me because I wanted to say
Yep.
Mumford and Sons.
I love
worship them. I love their music.
They
Love
are
it.
fantastic and so good live.
And I know. I was just gonna say, so good live. Like it's an experience.
Well, and the first time we saw them it was either, I think it was right over the river from Indiana to Kentucky. I think it was like this big riverside park, and we drove down from Michigan, and it wasn't like a concert. It was just like this giant hippie experience
Oh,
with all
yeah.
these people out on the lawn,
I
and they're
know.
playing away, and you know they're just the guy on the keyboards
Oh
is
my
going nuts, and I was
gosh.
like, oh, you guys are amazing.
They're amazing.
It really was an experience.
It was an
and-
experience. I do love that. I love them. Like they are an auto buy for me, pre-order,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh yeah, me
They're
too.
just- all right.
And I can't wait for this next tour to come
I know.
somewhere close.
They're going to be in both Columbus, which I am close to, and Lexington, which I am also close to.
Ooh.
So we might be going to both. But
might
we're
have-
definitely going to try and go to Lexington.
I might have to go to Lexington because my daughter's down there, and I know that she would come with me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that would be good.
Well,
That
cool.
would be
We'll have
good.
to hook up in Lexington.
Yeah,
or
that would be
Mumford.
that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yep, it's in March, I think. Tickets are on sale. Not that we're promoting Mumford.
Yes,
Buy my books
go buy
instead.
Mumford and Sons tickets. They're freaking amazing.
They're already so everyone buys their
Well, yeah.
tickets.
What did they make last tour? Like 96 million or
I
something?
don't. They're worth every
insane.
penny. They deserve it.
They are.
They're
But yes, buy Mindee's books instead, and then go buy
and then,
Mumford and
then
Sons.
go listen to Mumford.
So, what do you think these conventions do for you as an author? Do you think, and let me expound on that a little bit. A lot of authors think about doing conventions as, you know, an artist alley, getting booths, but it's expensive. You know,
Yes.
some conventions it's $800 for a booth.
Right.
I don't think it is here, but is it worth it to come and talk to people at conventions, do you think?
So let me preface that. So I don't have to buy a booth, like I'm a guest, so
Yeah.
I didn't cost me any money. If it
Yep.
cost me money, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Because ultimately it doesn't move the needle in terms of book sales.
Okay.
And that's just the way it is. However, being able to meet people like yourself and to being able to connect with people is why I do it, and that's what makes it worth it. You know, it's kind of like mental health to actually, you know, I talk to people online all the time, and because I promote primarily online, but to actually have moments where I get to see someone and talk to them who's read my book or who's interested, that feeds my soul. Like, even if it's one person, that is enough, and that is why I do this. So no, they're not worth it. I mean, if I were a really, really famous author, yeah, it would move that needle and it'd be worth it. But because I'm not, it's just simply getting a chance to be in the environment, being able to talk to aspiring writers or, you know, other writers and meet them, and that's what makes this worth it.
Okay.
So, and also, I'm a fangirl. Like, I like to go and look at all the stuff and buy all the things, and, you know, it's fun. So I would come. I mean, it's an excuse to come, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well, what's the cool? You haven't been here that long today. Hey,
No.
that's my little girl.
Oh,
Come on
she's
over
a
here.
big angel.
Yes.
Oh, don't keep looking at her.
Yes. Don't blink.
Don't
blink. Come down here. Yes, Emma went with us to Ace Comic-Con in Chicago, where we got to meet Matt Smith and Karen Gillan.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
she was a weeping angel, and they were super afraid of you, weren't they?
Can we get a picture? Can I get a picture?
Yes.
Will you come take a picture with me? Oh, I took off my mic.
Oh,
I'm
you're
so
fine.
sorry.
You're fine. Yeah, at Chicago, we had actually painted her arms and neck and hair and everything, but that was a lot to wear, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you look great though. Okay. Smile. I love your costume.
Hey, sweetie, I'll come chat with you and just give me like 5 minutes, okay? All right, we'll clip that back on you for just a second.
Sorry.
All right, so we are going to try to. What time is your panel?
Not until 2.
Not until 2.
Got plenty of time.
Okay. So I'm going to do my best to get up there to record that panel and
Okay.
add that to your video here so we can share with our audience. And that's something I'll send to your publicist and
Okay.
they can forward on to you. Maybe I'll connect with you on social media if you're
Yeah.
comfortable with that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Let's
if
do
you see
it.
the creepy bald guy sending you a friend request,
As
that's
long as
just
we're talking
me.
about Mumford and Doctor Who, man, I'm
Hey,
set.
all day.
It's all
day
good.
we can do that. Well, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I would like to talk about my other series because we haven't
Do
mentioned
it.
it yet,
Do
and
it.
it's not.
that these
yeah,
guys?
Avalon right there. That is it's my favorite. I have to say, it's science fiction. Science fiction is a hard sell in young adult. It's not terribly popular. People are afraid.
The cover is badass.
The cover is badass, right? Yeah,
Wow.
and the sequel has a flip side cover, so it's white. So it's the same kind of picture, but they're really cool side by
Sweet.
side. But this is, I call this Godfather meets Firefly. So it's about a group of teenage spaceship thieves that work for a crime lord boss, and they steal ships for him, and then they take them to chop shops and chop up the parts, resell them. And what they're stealing specifically is the technology that allows you to travel through space. And that technology is like an organism. So it's a living organism that allows this, but the organism is dying out. So the technology is really valuable. So that what they do is pretty dangerous. And the main character, Jeff, is looking for a way to get out of the life, you know, the gangster life, because his little sister is getting sucked into it, and he's worried what's going to happen to her. But, you know, getting out is not easy, and that's what that story is about, is them getting out of it. So.
Well, and as you're describing this, I'm picturing them traveling on the Firefly. I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah,
because
on Serenity,
I could totally
I
get
know.
into this world.
Yeah, Avalon is the name of the ship, right? So,
Okay.
and that's where that name comes from. And Avalon, it was originally called Eden because my main character loves the ship, man. It's like his home, you know, and Avalon is like a paradise. And that's why it's called Avalon.
Okay. And so people who like Firefly would probably enjoy this type of fiction?
I can say that with some certainty, yes.
Okay.
They will like it.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. Well, I like it. Well, thank you so much for
Well,
talking
thank
with me
you.
today. It
This
was great to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.